He's back. Shohei Ohtani, the king of kings, the greatest player of all time, the man who went 50-50 and was only doing half his job because he was too injured to do the other half. All you Yankee fans who are telling me that Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball, sorry, it's this guy, Shohei Ohtani, who after 2 years got back on the mound against the Padres and was throwing BBs, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour for Shohei. David, what did you see when you saw Shohei's first appearance?
I saw a lot of movement. I saw the ball was coming out wonderful. Obviously, when you're sitting there throwing 100 miles an hour, what can you say? But I'm watching these pitches and I'm watching tight spin, tight movement. It was pretty dang impressive. I am amazed this is how they're choosing to go about his rehab process is in live games, especially against like teams like the Padres, which is a amped up, hyped up stuff. One of your big things you want on rehab when you're dealing with the rehab process is to not hype up the innings, to be able to let the guys relax, let them just kind of do their thing and just throw. Because when you're doing this, you just need them to get their numbers, right? You just need pitches. You need 25 pitch, 15, 25 pitches. When you're in these moments, you throw harder, you're focused, you're amped, everything's happening faster. It's the exact opposite I want out of a rehab coordinator, out of a pitching coordinator, out of a front office. It's Major League Baseball's rules. I do not understand how you come in as the starting pitcher and then leave as the DH. I don't agree with it at all. I think that's the biggest crock of BS when we moved the DH in the National League and this random rule of allowing them to be this DH pitcher, whatever they are. So that's basically it's a rule that you've built to allow for Ohtani to stay in the big leagues as a rehabbing and the pitch and the hit. I don't agree with it, but Ohtani looked great. I've got no issues with Ohtani. Obviously, you're going to see a little wildness, a little here, a little there. That's very normal for your first outing. Like no one, if you were judging that, go F yourself, because this should be happening in Rancho Cucamonga. This should be happening on the Dodgers complex for a first inning. Like they've shown them doing the little rehab innings before games. That's where this stuff happens. That's why you see like Jerry Hairston going up there in a bats against him. Like the batter he faced before the Padres was Jerry Hairston.
That's a little bit of a drop off
of the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is another case of the Los Angeles Dodgers doing a shitty job with pitching. That's all it is to me. I'm saying this straight up. This is another case of the Dodgers doing a horrible job of managing their pitching. How are we sitting back and wondering why they've had 14 arm injuries, 15 arm injuries this year? Like arm injuries. And then they're throwing Shohei Ohtani in his rehab outings against the Padres in a big league game. These are rehab outings. I understand. I've been around Kerry Wood, who was tougher than nails, one of the toughest pitchers ever, and he was struggling in 2006. And the team asked him to go on a rehab assignment on a normal 15-day IL stint, or DL back in the day. And he told him to go F off. And he pitched in the big leagues. Great. This isn't that. This is 300, 400 some odd days since he's been on a mound. This is everything about this is wrong, and I've got I got zero cares anymore about how the Dodgers handle their pitching because they're choosing to do it the anti of everybody else, and their pitchers are getting hurt.
I think the Dodgers are going to end up getting a major free agent sometime in the next few years that's going to be so under the radar. They're going to just spend $20-30 million in figuring out a way to bring Jeremy Hefner from the Mets to the Dodgers because the Dodgers are the anti-Mets right now. Everything that the Mets are doing perfectly, the Dodgers are screwing it up. Can you imagine if Jeremy Hefner had some of the arms that the Dodgers brought in? They'd have a 1 ERA.
Some of these Dodgers people, like Mark Pryor is the Dodgers pitching coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has the greatest job in Major League history. You get to be very mediocre and everybody's getting hurt and you get to keep your job. Like these pitchers are pitching below how good they are. They're pitching worse than how good they are. And yet you get to keep your job. That's how are we looking at this and saying he's doing a better job than what he got him? They're doing worse and they're staying unhealthy. since he's been there. Since I know I'm kind of throwing some shots across the bow right now, but Jeremy Hefner, like a good pitching coach, would have these guys pitching better than they got them, right? This is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. There's a very pitcher-friendly everything about the Dodgers is perfect for pitching. It always has been. Historically, that's why they kind of have some of the greatest pitchers of all time. That's not by just chance. It's because the Dodgers, the way Chavez Ravine, the way everything is built is for pitching. It's perfect. That's why they don't have guys that are just 500 home run hitters left and right. So Yankees do, and the Yankees haven't had great pitching over the course of their career. They've had a lot of very good. They've never had these pitchers that are just like, oh my God, besides like Goose Gossage, but Goose Gossage pitched for everybody. But even their best pitchers were good. Not like the best of all time. The Dodgers are the best of all time. Like, I'm
trying to think with the Yankees. You got Whitey, you got Garrett Cole. I can't think of too many other guys.
Whitey, Garrett Cole, but you've had the
and we probably lost David here for I think he's back.
No, you lose me a little bit. I don't know why it tells me I'm on Wi-Fi when I'm actually hardwired in. Anyways, but there's never been, there's Whitey Ford back in the day. You've had just some pitchers, but nobody where you're just sitting up there like, all right, top 10 pitchers of all time outside of Mariano.
Right.
Outside of Mariano.
Right.
Top 10 pitchers of all time. And you're hard pressed to find a Yankee on that list, right? You'll go to the Dodgers, you go top 10 pitchers of all time. So there's probably gonna be a couple Dodgers, Sandy's number one on that list, arguably, and like, anyways. But I feel like Mark Pryor's done such a piss poor job with what he's been given, where these guys every one of these guys should be pitching like Paul Skeens in that situation, and they're not because they're all hurt.
Yeah, it's a bad situation in LA. And can you imagine if Ohtani got hurt again?
I can, because it's going to happen. It's the delivery is built for it, and they're doing nothing to help themselves.
Terrible.
Sorry, you've heard it here first. He's going to get hurt again. It might not be this year. It's going to be soon. And they're doing nothing on a rehab standpoint to prep them outside of the fact that they took forever. That's the only thing that's going to be their saving grace, is that they didn't need him. That's it. And that's not a Dodger thing. That's just because the Dodgers signed everybody.
Yeah.
That wasn't like, hey, we made a great decision here. It's just the Dodgers didn't need him.
Now, let me ask you this from a pitching guru standpoint. When you see a guy who's had 2 Tommy Johns and he's throwing the way he's throwing with that kind of velocity and that kind of movement, are you surprised? Were you expecting something less from him? Is this common?
Tommy John to me is nothing. Tommy John's like, you're fine with Tommy John. You'll throw hard. It's just after 2 Tommy Johns, historically, nobody's ever pitched well. That's just it. That's just historically, no one's really stayed healthy and pitched well. You see the stuff. And again, it's one outing, but that's what generally guys kind of like. He's going to be fine. He's going to have his ups and downs, but historically, no one's ever really come back from 2 Tommy Johns and been great. Like Walker Buehler, welcome back from 2 Tommy Johns, and he's 5.4 ERA.
He hasn't been great.
Get it? He has not been good. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been good. He's been bad. He's been piss poor, to be honest.
But that's the difference, though. His velocity never really came back, did it? Like he wasn't throwing as hard as he was prior to the Tommy John. Ohtani's throwing just as hard, and it's got movement. That's why I'm a little surprised. I was not expecting that, to be honest.
Yes, that's the thing, but that's where I believe the waiting has helped. And at the same time, like, because they've taken, let them get really strong. Let me see with Walker Buehler. I don't want to speak for Walker Buehler, but yes, his velocity, he's averaging 94 right now. 2004 was averaging 95. Trying to see if I can get more seasons. Show more seasons. 2020 was 96.8, 96.5. So yeah, he's definitely down.
Yeah, he lost a couple of miles an hour. Yeah.
But I'm not that surprised that the velocity's there. It's also one inning. And you're amped, and it's a huge inning against the Padres, and he was starting to have some trouble, so he's firing it up. but we'll see over time.
And by the way, before we move on from the Dodgers and their pitching problems, now Roki Sasaki, they shut him down. They have no idea when he's coming back. There's another guy.
That's exactly like when you get a guy that rotates as hard as they do with their shoulders, and they're teaching this. A lot of places are teaching this movement because it creates velocity, it creates movement, it creates the ride, and then it creates the slider. Oh my God, the sweeper, and it creates a whole lot of stress in your shoulders, and you're seeing a whole lot of arm issues because of that. And Roki Sasaki does this, and like they're taking their prized prospect and don't even know when he's going to be throwing.
Listen, I'm going to say
no one questioned it. Like, why is nobody's raising this really as a front office question, saying why are you going down this direction continuously?
I don't know, but
they're ruining every great arm in baseball. They're signing every great arm, and then no one's coming out of Nobody's coming out from the Dodgers better. No. That's my thing. Nobody's leaving the Dodgers a better pitcher than what they got there, and they're taking the past.
If you were going to go to Vegas and you were going to bet on my next statement, would you bet yes or no? Shohei Ohtani will pitch one more season as a starter next season, and that'll be it.
Yes.
I believe that he will be a reliever or a closer after next season.
He'll be pitching. We talked about this before. I just don't think he'll be pitching.
I think he'll be pitching. I think he's too good at it not to, because there's just so much opportunity.
When he hurts his arm, when he hurts his arm again, there's no way a team's going to allow him to step on that mound and understand the loss of capital that when he's rehabbing. Because if he ever goes in the bullpen and gets hurt again, and they're losing this dude hitting, the financial loss is too big. He'll never pitch again. Now, there's a better question: should he go straight to the bullpen now? That's another question, and I don't think that'll ever happen when you have a bat in your hand. Yeah. I don't think he can right now. I think the Dodgers need him too much, and I think they don't want to piss him off. And I think Ohtani desperately wants to be a pitcher more than anything else. He wants to prove that he can do this long term and be the guy that we know he is. Yep.